Hey guys, this is Adam from Adrenaline Cycles coming at you. This is a tech tip video here, and we're going to talk about the Gboost Rollers for your secondary clutch, and the tool that makes it a lot better to take it apart. You can see here Gboost offers this tool and the heavy duty rollers. They call these their Rhino rollers because they're super tough. We'll give you guys a little look at what we're working with here. As far as this customer come in, he took it off himself and brought it in. He's missing rollers around the helix on the secondary, and this is a common problem on the X3s. We see it quite a bit, especially if you're chopping throttle. It'll break the factory rollers, which these are set here, and you can see the difference in compound, that this is a Gboost and this is a factory roller. So yeah, this feels a lot harder, where this feels like it's still hard, but it's just a different material. So it's definitely a lot more durable, and I have yet to see any of these break on a secondary clutch. So factory ones, okay, in standard applications, not so great with performance and tire size and everything's updated. All right, guys, and a little tip to show you guys here on the secondary is when you're taking it apart, look here, on a 172 model, the arrow here will line up with the arrow over here. As you can see, arrow and arrow. And the spring is on the opposite side here in 4. If you have a 120 model, you're going to be on C and number 2. So just be mindful when you're taking your clutch apart what unit you have, and to make sure this goes back this way. And I'll tell you, when we're putting it back together, you have to like preload the spring to get these to line up so you can bolt it down. So we'll go over that at the end, but just be mindful of that when you're taking it apart so you know where it goes. I like to use a paint pen and mark all my stuff before they put the arrows on there. Old school tip there. Going down the line here, I'll show you guys what you need outside of your rollers and tools here. We start out with a 50 Torx bit. We'll have a 20 Torx bit and 2 19s to use the tool. Taking the clutch off your machine, it doesn't require any specialty tool. It just, the bolt comes out and then it'll pop off. It's splined on, not tapered. And another tool we like to use here is a clutch press. This will help take the tension off the spring so we can take the helix out. Look it up online. They're out there. There's different versions, different prices. I think this is like a EPI one or something. So they're not really expensive, but to do the job right and don't break your expensive clutch, you know, pick it up, or maybe ask around when your buddies might have it. I'll go ahead and we'll use YouTube magic here. We'll go ahead and get it busted apart. We won't show you guys all that. Before we do that, go ahead guys and hit the like and subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit the bell so you get the notifications when we're dropping these videos for you guys, so you can stay up to date with what we're doing. All right guys, we got the clutch busted apart. This is a good time to take and inspect your sheaves on both inner and outer half before you get any further. There's no need to replace the rollers if you got a bad sheave on either side. You got more problems, but go ahead and inspect them. You can use a little bit of green Scotch-Brite as well to clean them up. And this clutch, honestly guys, this thing's got over 7,000 miles on it and it looks really good. So this customer has taken good care of it up to the point to where the rollers let go, and that's what I was about to show you here, why we have to have a new helix for the guy. You can see here, it might be hard to tell there, but there's a bad lip on these edges here. And we don't want to put them new rollers on something that's got a hard edge. And so that's why we went on ahead and suggested he get a new helix. And the fact that he broke a big chunk out of here probably wouldn't affect it, but what we're more concerned is about these lips on where the rollers ride and causing premature wear. So just to be a little mindful, this part wasn't horrible, probably in the $125 range, maybe, but it, you know, he had to have it, and you know, we don't half but do things around here. So he'll get that new with some new Rhino rollers. We'll go ahead and get in here and show you guys how we do this. A good handy friend to have, I forgot to mention before, heat. These things, I don't know if it's Loctite, but there's some super tight tolerances, and without the heat helping you with the puller, you will strip your puller out. So I'm gonna go ahead and disclaimer, use heat with your puller because these things are in there. You can see there, guys, he went on ahead and pulled the Torx 27 screw out, and the tool itself will thread into this pin. This pin, there's no way to get a hold of it, and it is a machined smooth surface. They actually call it a bearing in the parts microfiche. So, I mean, you can imagine you're not going to grab a bearing with a pair of pliers and try and do anything with it. The tool threads in there really nice, and the arms push against it. As he starts to crank this out, it should pull the pin out. But again, we're going to have to use some heat to help it along here. Pointer here, you know, you want to get them as flush as you can around there so you can fit your roller in. It'll be a snug fit when they set down in there. So now we got that going, we'll go ahead and just get our rollers put in. We'll show you the process for one of those, and then we'll just repeat it ourselves. You don't need to watch that. If you can see one and how we do it, you can do the rest, and then we'll go back and show you how it goes back together. We're back to the point, guys, where we're reinstalling the Gboost rollers here, the Rhino ones. So what we need to take a look at, we've used the tool to get the rollers out, or at least get the pins out that the new rollers will go on. And we'll use a 5/16 punch per the instructions to get these pins set back into place. And when you're doing that, just take note to make sure you got to drive the pin in far enough to get the set screw back in so the pin don't back out. So that's really the only thing you got to watch for, because you can't get your screw in there, you know it needs to go in a little farther. And you can also look to the inside and tell if it's gone too far, and then you got to pull it back out with the tool. So just take mind of it. You know, it's a little, you know, tap, 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 check, tap, 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 check. Make sure your screw sets all the way down flush like it come out. We'll get Dusty in here to drive this home to show you guys what it's about. And with that drove down in there, guys, like I said, you can check to make sure it's all the way in by installing your screw and see if it starts to thread down. If it starts to thread in, then you know your roller pin bearing down here is pointy deep enough into the secondary clutch to do its job, and it won't back out once you install this bolt. So we'll cut back from here. When we start to clock the helix, we'll show you guys how to do that, like I talked to you about before at the start of the video. So we'll cut to that with YouTube magic. All right, guys, we're getting ready to put this clutch back together. We got our rollers installed and we used the tool and everything went great. Like I said at the start of the video, we marked our arrows here on the helix so we know where to put everything, line it back up. The green tip on the spring will go in the number 4 hole, and then we have an arrow here that will line up with the arrows on the sheaves. Both sheaves do have arrows on them, and we just kindly painted them in here so you guys can see it in the video, because this is the back sheave and this is the front sheave, and you can see them just so you guys can see that. When we try to put this in here, it'll get a little difficult to see, but we'll try to do our best, because it takes a buddy to be able to help you to get it in there, because it'll definitely have some tension on it when we start clocking the spring the correct way to get it to perform properly when you reinstall it. So you can see here, this will go like this, guys. We got it in number 4 hole. We're going to line it up on A, so we'll start to use the reinstall tool to get this thing back together. And like I said, it might be a little hard to see because we'll have to clock it. You have to put tension on this spring to get the holes to line up and everything to be the way it needs to be. So just take mind of that, and we'll get Dusty over here to help us. Are we going good, Dusty? Like I said, guys, you got to have somebody pull it to get the load on the spring so it'll line up the triangles on your sheaves to match the helix. It's not a lot to think about, but if you don't do it right, it won't go together. It won't function correctly. So just make sure the arrows line up with the helix on both sheaves. And like I said, you got to preload that. So you'll have to have a buddy, and that's where the tool comes in handy. Because if you're trying to do this on the table with no tool, I don't know if you can even do it. So the tool comes in handy, which obviously I didn't do a whole lot. Dusty had all the hard part. But he'll crank it down here and reinstall the 3 backer bolts to hold the helix to the sheaves. And like I said, guys, with the tools, the job's not very hard at all. Reinstall your 3 bolts on the back of your sheave here to your helix to hold all 3 parts together. These get torqued down to 45 foot-pound, and just make sure you get them right. They are big torques. That was that T50 that we have. So just torque those back down to 45 foot-pound and reinstall it on your machine. And if you like any of these parts that we use today, the Gboost stuff is a great product. We've had really good luck out of those. The rollers, I've yet to see any broke of those. And we sell a lot of machines and we work on a lot of them. So just click on any of the links down below if you want to pick up some of that stuff. And if you guys have any comments or questions, just ask down below and we'll try to help you out.